Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Go Premanande. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya, Jai Nityananda, Jai Advaita Chandra, Jai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Welcome to the live studios here at Bhaktivedanta Ashram at Govardhan Hill. We'll be broadcasting here up until the 17th of October. You're welcome to stop by the studio. And we're reading from the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila. And we're at chapter 14, the performance of Vrindavan pastimes. For those who want to know the details of rasa, we're in the midst of it. And we'll take up where we left off at text number 174. Pride, ambition, weeping, smiling, envy, fear, and anger are the 7 ecstatic loving symptoms manifested by a jubilant shrinking away. And these symptoms are called Kila Kinchita Bhava. There are 7 other transcendental ecstatic symptoms. When they combine on the platform of jubilation, the combination is called Mahabhava. The 7 combined ingredients of Mahabhava are pride, ambition, fear, dry artificial crying, anger, envy, and mild smiling. There are 8 symptoms of ecstatic love on the platform of transcendental jubilation, and when they are combined and tasted by Krishna, the Lord's mind is completely satisfied. Indeed, they are compared to a combination of yogurt, candy, ghee, honey, black pepper, camphor, and cardamom, which, when mixed together, are very tasty and sweet. Lord Sri Krishna is thousands upon thousands of times more satisfied when he sees Srimati Radharani's face light up from this combination of ecstatic love than he is by direct union with her. Purport: this is further explained in the following verse from the Ujjvala Nilamani, Anubhava Prakarana 41 of Srila Rupa Goswami. May the sight of Srimati Radharani's Kila Kinchita ecstasy, which is like a bouquet, bring good fortune to all. When Sri Krishna blocked Radharani's way to the Dan Gati, there was laughter within her heart. Her eyes grew bright, and fresh tears flowed from her eyes, reddening them. Due to her sweet relationship with Krishna, her eyes were enthusiastic, and when her crying subsided, she appeared even more beautiful. Agitated by tears, Srimati Radharani's eyes were tinged with red, just like the eastern horizon at sunrise. Her lips began to move with jubilation and lusty desire. Her eyebrows curved, and her lotus-like face smiled mildly. Seeing Radharani's face exhibit such emotion, Lord Sri Krishna felt 1,000,000 times happier than when he embraced her. Indeed, Lord Sri Krishna's happiness is not at all mundane. This is a quotation from Govinda Lilamrita. Upon hearing this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very happy, and being absorbed in this happiness, he embraced Swarup Damodar Goswami. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then asked Swarup Damodar, please speak of the ecstatic ornaments decorating the body of Srimati Radharani, by which she enchants the mind of Sri Govinda. Being thus requested, Swarup Damodar began to speak. All the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were very happy to hear him. Sometimes when Srimati Radharani is sitting, or when she is going to Vrindavan, she sees Krishna. The symptoms of various ecstasies that become manifest at that time are called vilas. This is described in the following verse taken from Ujjvala Nilamani, Anubhav Prakarana 39. The various symptoms manifested in a woman's face, eyes, and the other parts of her body, and the way she moves, stands, or sits when she meets her beloved are called vilas. Swarup Damodar said timidity, jubilation, ambition, respect, fear, and the characteristics of the left-wing gopis are all ecstatic symptoms that combine to agitate Srimati Radharani. This is explained in the following verse, which is found in the Govinda Lilamrita. When Srimati Radharani saw Lord Krishna just before her, her progress stopped and she assumed an attitude of opposition. Although her face was slightly covered by a blue garment, her two starry eyes were agitated, being wide and curved. Thus she was decorated with the ornaments of vilas, and her beauty increased to give pleasure to Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When Srimati Radharani stands before Krishna, she stands bent in 3 places, her neck, waist, and legs, and her eyebrows dance. When there is an awakening of the various ecstatic features on Srimati Radharani's face and in her eyes that are appropriate to a charming feminine attitude, the Lalita ornament is manifest. When the bodily features are delicate and expertly curved, and when the eyebrows are very beautifully agitated, the ornament of feminine charm, called Lalita Alankar, is manifest. This verse is from Ujjvala Nilamani, Anubhava Prakarana 51. When Lord Sri Krishna happens to see Srimati Radharani decorated with these Lalita ornaments, they both eagerly want to meet each other. When Srimati Radharani was decorated with the ornament of Lalita Alankar, just to increase Sri Krishna's love, an attractive curve was manifested by her neck, knees, and waist. This was brought about by her timidity and apparent desire to avoid Krishna. The flickering movements of her eyebrows could conquer the powerful bow of Cupid. To increase the joy of her beloved, her body was decorated with the ornaments of Lalita Alankar. This verse was quoted from Govinda Lilamrita 9.14. When Krishna comes forward and greedily snatches at the border of her sari, Srimati Radharani is actually very pleased within, but still she tries to stop him. This ecstatic attitude of Srimati Radharani is called Kutamita. When this ecstatic ornament is manifested, Radharani externally tries to avoid Krishna. She apparently becomes angry, although she is very happy within. I misspoke, so I'll read it again. When this ecstatic ornament is manifested, Radharani externally tries to avoid Krishna, and she apparently becomes angry, although she is very happy within. When the border of her sari and the cloth veiling her face are caught, she externally appears offended and angry, but within her heart she is very happy. Learned scholars call this attitude Kutamita. This is a quotation from Ujjvala Nilamani Anubhav Prakarana 44. Although Srimati Radharani was checking Krishna with her hand, internally she was thinking, let Krishna satisfy his desires. In this way she was very pleased within, although she externally displayed opposition and anger. Srimati Radharani externally displays a kind of dry crying, as if she is offended. Then she mildly smiles and admonishes Lord Krishna. Actually, she has no desire to stop Krishna's endeavor to touch her body with his hands. Yet Srimati Radharani, whose thighs are like the trunk of a baby elephant, protests his advances and sweetly smiling admonishes him. At such times she cries without tears on her charming face. In this way, Srimati Radharani, ornamented and decorated with various ecstatic symptoms which attract. In this way, Srimati Radharani is ornamented and decorated with various ecstatic symptoms which attract the mind of Sri Krishna. It is not at all possible to describe the unlimited pastimes of Sri Krishna, even though he himself describes them in his incarnation of Sahasrabhadana, the thousand-mouthed Sheshanag. At this time, Srivas Thakur smiled and told Swarup Damodar, my dear sir, please hear. Just see how opulent my goddess of fortune is. As far as Vrindavan's opulence is concerned, that is a very important change in topic. I'll just read that verse 203 again. At this time, Srivas Thakur smiled and told Swarup Damodar, my dear sir, please hear. Just see how opulent my goddess of fortune is. And here we get a compare and contrast from the opulence of the Vaikuntha and with the sweetness of Vrindavan. As far as Vrindavan's opulence is concerned, it consists of a few flowers and twigs. Keeping in mind that Srivas Thakur is Narada Muni, who's a devotee of Lord Narayan, Lakshmi Narayan. As far as Vrindavan's opulence is concerned, it consists of a few flowers and twigs, some minerals from the hills, a few peacock feathers, and the plant known as Gunja. When Jagannath decided to see Vrindavan, he went there, and upon hearing this, the goddess of fortune experienced restlessness and jealousy. She wondered, why did Lord Jagannath give up so much opulence and go to Vrindavan? To make him a laughingstock, the goddess of fortune made arrangements for much decoration. Then the maidservant of the goddess of fortune said to the servants of Lord Jagannath, why did your Lord Jagannath abandon the great opulence of the goddess of fortune and for the sake of a few leaves, fruits and flowers, go to see the flower garden in Srimati Radharani? Go to see the flower garland of Srimati Radharani. Your master is so expert at everything, but why does he do such things? Now bring your master before the goddess of fortune. In this way, all the maidservants of the goddess of fortune arrested the servants of Jagannath, bound them around the waist, and brought them before the goddess of fortune. When all the maidservants brought Lord Jagannath's servants before the lotus feet of the goddess of fortune, the Lord's servants were fined and forced to submit. All the maidservants began to beat the Rath cart with sticks, and they treated the servants of Lord Jagannath almost like thieves. Finally, all of Lord Jagannath's servants submitted to the goddess of fortune with folded hands, assuring her that they would bring Lord Jagannath before her the very next day. Being thus pacified, the goddess of fortune returned to her apartment. Just see, my goddess of fortune is opulent beyond description. Srivas Thakur continued to address Swarup Damodar. Your gopis are engaged in boiling milk and churning it into yogurt. But my mistress, the goddess of fortune, sits on a throne made of jewels and gems. Srivas Thakur, who was enjoying the mood of Narada Muni, thus made jokes. Hearing him, all the personal servants of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to smile. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then told Srivas Thakur, my dear Srivas, your nature is exactly like that of Narada Muni. The Supreme Personality of Godhead's opulence is having a direct influence upon you. Swarup Damodar is a pure devotee of Vrindavan. He does not even know what opulence is, for he is simply absorbed in pure devotional service. Swarup Damodar then retorted, my dear Srivas, please hear me with attention. You have forgotten the transcendental opulence of Vrindavan. The natural opulence of Vrindavan is just like an ocean. The opulence of Dwarka and Vaikuntha is not even to be compared to a drop. Sri Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, full of all opulences, and his complete opulences are exhibited only in Vrindavan Dham. Vrindavan Dham is made of transcendental touchstone. Its entire surface is the source of all valuable jewels, and the Chintamani stone is used to decorate the lotus feet of the maidservants of Vrindavan. Vrindavan is a natural forest of desire trees and creepers, and the inhabitants do not want anything but the fruits and flowers of those desire trees. In Vrindavan there are cows that fulfill all desires, kamantenus, and their number is unlimited. They graze from forest to forest and deliver only milk. The people want nothing else. In Vrindavan, the natural speech of the people sounds like music, and their natural motion resembles a dance. The water in Vrindavan is nectar, and the Brahmajyoti effulgence, which is full of transcendental bliss, is directly perceived there in its form. The gopis there are also goddesses of fortune, and they surpass the goddess of fortune who abides in Vaikuntha. In Vrindavan, Lord Krishna is always playing his transcendental flute, which is his dear companion. The damsels of, Sriya Kanta Kanta Paramapurusha Kalpataravo Druma Bhumishchintamani Ganamayi Toyam Amritam Taganam Nakyam Gamanamapi Vamshi Priyasaki Chiranandam Jyoti Paramapi Taraswadyam Apicha Sayatra Shiradi Sravati Surabhibhyasta Sumaha. Sorry. The damsels of Vrindavan, the gopis, are super goddesses of fortune. The enjoyer in Vrindavan is the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. The trees there are all wish-fulfilling trees, and the land is made of transcendental touchstone. The water is all nectar, the talking is singing, the walking is dancing, and the constant companion of Krishna is his flute. The effulgence of transcendental bliss is experienced everywhere. Therefore, Vrindavan Dham is the only relishable abode. This quotation is from Brahma Samhita. The anklets on the damsels of Rajbhumi are made of Chintamani stone. The trees are wish-fulfilling trees, and they produce flowers with which the gopis decorate themselves. There are also wish-fulfilling cows, kamadhenus, which deliver unlimited quantities of milk. These cows constitute the wealth of Vrindavan. Thus, Vrindavan's opulence is blissfully exhibited. Srivas Thakur then, this is a verse from Bilvamangal Thakur. It's quoted in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Srivas Thakur then began to dance in ecstatic love. He vibrated sounds by slapping his armpits with the palms of his hands, and he laughed very loudly. Thus Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard these discussions about the pure transcendental mellow of Srimati Radharani, absorbed in transcendental ecstasy. Absorbed in transcendental ecstasy, the Lord began to dance. While Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing in ecstatic love and Swarup Damodar was singing, the Lord said, "Go on singing, go on singing." The Lord then extended his own ears. Thus Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's ecstatic love was awakened by hearing the songs of Vrindavan. In this way he inundated Purushottam Jagannath Puri with love of Godhead. Finally, the goddess of fortune returned with her to her apartment. In due course of time, as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing, afternoon arrived. After much singing, all 4 Sankirtan parties grew fatigued, but Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's ecstatic love increased twofold. While dancing and absorbed in Srimati Radharani's ecstatic love, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in her very form. Srimati Radharani's ecstatic love, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in her very form. Seeing this form from a distant place, Nityananda Prabhu offered prayers. Seeing the ecstatic love of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu did not approach, but remained a little distant away. Only Nityananda Prabhu could catch Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but the ecstatic mood of the Lord would not stop. At the same time, kirtan could not be continued. Swarup Damodar then informed the Lord that all the devotees were fatigued. Seeing this situation, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to his external senses. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then entered the flower garland with all his devotees. After resting there for some time, he took his afternoon bath. Then there arrived in large quantities a variety of food that had been offered to Sri Jagannath, and a variety that had been offered to the goddess of fortune. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu finished his afternoon lunch, and after his evening bath he went to see Lord Jagannath. As soon as he saw Lord Jagannath, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to dance and chant. Afterwards, accompanied by his devotees, the Lord enjoyed sporting in the lake called Narendra Sarovara. Then entering the flower garden, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took his meal. In this way he continuously performed all kinds of pastimes for 8 days. The next day Lord Jagannath came out from the temple and riding on the car returned to his own abode. As previously, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees chanted and danced with great pleasure. During the Pandu Vijay, Lord Jagannath was carried, and while he was being carried, a bunch of silken ropes broke. When the Jagannath deity is carried, at intervals he is placed on cotton pads. When the ropes broke, the cotton pads also broke due to the weight of Lord Jagannath, and the cotton floated into the air. Ramananda Vasu and Satyaraj Khan were present from Kulina Gram, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with great respect gave them the following orders. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered Ramananda Vasu and Satyaraj Khan to become the worshippers of these ropes, and every year bring silken ropes from their village. It is understood that silken rope was being manufactured by the local inhabitants of Kulina Gram. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Ramananda Vasu and Satyaraj Khan to get ropes every year for Lord Jagannath's service. After telling them this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed them the broken silken ropes, saying, "Just look at this sample. You must make ropes that are much stronger." Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then informed Ramananda Vasu and Satyaraj Khan that this rope was the abode of Lord Shesha, who expands himself into 10 forms and serves the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For a description of Sheshanaga, refer to Adi Leela 5.123 through 124. Bhagyavan Satyaraj Vasu Ramananda Seva Agnya Bhaya Hoila Parama Ananda. After receiving orders from the Lord for the rendering of service, the fortunate Satyaraj and Ramananda Vasu were highly pleased. Every year thereafter, when the Gudicha temple was being cleansed, Satyaraj and Ramananda Vasu would come with the other devotees and with great pleasure bring silken rope. Thus Lord Jagannath returned to his temple and sat on his throne, while Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu returned to his residence with his devotees. Thus Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed the Rath Yatra ceremony to his devotees and performed the Vrindavan pastimes with them. The pastimes of Lord Chaitanya are unlimited and endless. Even Sahasravadana, Lord Shesha, cannot reach the limits of his pastimes. Praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishnadas, narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita following their footsteps. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports to the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, 14th chapter, describing the performance of the Vrindavan pastimes at and the Hera Panchami Yatra. Balo, balo, sadhu, sadhu, jai, jai, bravo, bravissimo, danya, danya. Okay, we'll take 3 reflections or questions from the outside and no doubling down, and 3 from the inside. Start with the outside. Question, reflection. 3 only.
Hare Krishna. This is the first time that I caught verse 235, where Lord Chaitanya took on the very form of Srimati Radharani. I never caught that before, so thank you for that.
I'm with you on that.
And I just wanted to mention, and then the other verse that was quoting from the Brahma Samhita about the opulence of Vrindavan, every step is a dance and all the trees. I just wanted to mention that the trees in Vrindavan, the desire trees in Vrindavan, Madhavendra Puri himself is a desire tree from Vrindavan. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. That's 1. Get 2 more. Namachintamani will choose.
This is regarding closing the morning session, the topic of Lord Jagannath from Dwaraka and the discussion about it. There is one place where it's there in the Vedas, the conversation where Prabhupada is asked this question about you've given this name Radha Partha Sarathi, so Radharani in the battlefield, I mean, when, Parthasarathi refers to the form of Krishna who is fighting. So Prabhupada simply replies by saying that, do you think that when Krishna is there as Parthasarathi, Radharani is not there? So it is a very direct reply which Prabhupada gave. And the other thing about the story of how Rohini is narrating this pastime, and then that's how they got those forms. There is a conversation where this story is brought up to Prabhupada, and they ask him for confirmation, is this true? And Prabhupada simply says something to the effect, maybe. So he doesn't confirm it nor deny it, just as a point of information.
It comes in the category of aitya. Means Shruti pratyaksham aityam anamanam chatushchayam pramaneshvanam astanad vikalpat savirajite. Krishna said that. He said there are 4 kinds of, by these 4 kinds of evidence you should make advancement in spiritual life. And aitya means passed down by word of mouth. So maybe. Okay, you get 1 more outside.
I've heard of, I know they do the return rath from the Gundisha temple back to the Jagannath temple, but do they do a
Hera Panchami?
Yeah, Hera Panchami?
Yes.
They do?
Yes.
Okay.
Would you like to go?
Did you go?
To Hera Panchami?
Yeah.
No. I went to the return rath, but I didn't see the Hera Panchami.
Okay.
Actually, maybe I did, but it was not extensive. It was raining extensively, so I think we went briefly, and saw that. We have a little darshan there. Yes. Come to think of it. Okay, 3 inside, and we'll let. Who's going to choose besides me? Okay,
how does
ahead.
the goddess of fortune look like? in the deity form there. It's just, I was wondering, maybe some other devotees saw it or saw her inside the temple. Just a short comment on the Madhavendra Puri's identity. Actually, Kavikarna Puri says in Govardhana Dipika, he is like a desire tree because all the ecstatic love comes from him, which we read, all the ecstatic, he is the source of all ecstatic love. But sometimes erroneously translated that he is a desire tree. So if there is no pramana directly from Prabhupada or Acharyas, it's the only that verse, it can be translated, or it is translated as he is like a desire tree.
Well, can we pray to him?
Of course.
Will he fulfill all the desires because he's like a desire tree?
Oh, he is.
Okay, I'm going to do that from now on.
And just one sentence from the previous chapter I was really... Prabhupada says that one has to be noticed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And a little service with sincere efforts will convince the Lord that one is a proper candidate for returning home back to Godhead. Little service with sincere. And then further on, devotees of Krishna must persistently seek the favor and mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to become fit to return home back to God.
Hari, Hari. Okay, you have to deliberately choose who's next. You can't just... Nobody else?
No hands? Okay.
Maharaj, one thing I was noticing that how the devotees are fixed up in their service. Whenever there is a time of prasadam comes, Vaninathraya will jump up and his mentions will come that Vaninathraya brought all the prasadam, and whenever the crowd like Kasi Sir, Kasi Mishra and others, I see that there is like a pattern is all, and Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami will mention everyone's name. They did this service.
They all had their services.
They all had their service and they stick to their service.
Yeah. Just like we have Radha Kripa Prabhu when we make the pilgrimage from ISV to Los Angeles Rath Yatra. He's our Shivananda Sain.
Yeah. And towards the end I was appreciating how one of the definition of sincerity I heard that filling the gaps, and when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw that the rope got broken, and he immediately found out that he gave that service, and as you and Guru always says that how our service will save us, and that's like literally we can see this rope was a service that they got, and that rope kind of pulled them back to the, and like you tell always, this rope pulls us back to the spiritual world. So you can always remember this, how this silken rope example that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave to the two Ramchandra, sorry I forgot the name, the two Satyaraj, no, Kulin Gram's two residents.
Let's get their names here. They're Ramananda Vasu and Satyaraj Khan.
Yeah, Ramananda Vasu and Satyaraj Khan.
RV and SK.
Yeah, thank you Maharaj, I was just remembering that.
Nicely done. Okay, last one.
Hare Krishna Gurmash. I was very happy and thrilled to hear this wonderful nectarian descriptions from the different scriptures. And I noticed there were many verses quoted from Sri Ujjvala Nilamani, which is the sequel to the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. I am a lowly servant on the team of devotees with the BBT working on presenting Sri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. We're finishing it this coming months, and it will be published early next year. And I wanted to take the opportunity to request all the devotees present to please pray to Giriraj that we can one day present a BBT edition of Sri Ujjvala Nilamani for the pleasure of the devotees, if the Lord permits and so desires.
Hare Hare. Okay. If you have questions, just hold them. As we'll come back to you, we have to make progress because I have Amrita Sagar here making sure I move along. Chapter 15, the Lord accepts prasadam at the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. The following summary of this chapter is given by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Amrita Prabha Bhashya. After the Rath Yatra's festival, Sri Advaita Acharya Prabhu worshipped Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with flowers and tulsi, not tulasi. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in return worshipped Advaita Acharya and the followers and tulsi, with the flowers and tulsi that remained on the offered plate, and said a mantra, Yosi Sosi Namostute. Whatever you are, but I offer my respects unto you. Then Advaita Acharya Prabhu invited Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for prasadam. When Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees performed Nandotsava ceremony, the Nandotsava ceremony, the Lord dressed himself as cowherd boy. Thus the ceremony was very jubilant. Then the Lord and his devotees observed Vijay Dashami, the day of victory when Lord Ramachandra conquered Lanka. The devotees all became soldiers of Lord Ramachandra, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the ecstasy of Hanuman manifested various transcendentally blissful activities. Thereafter the Lord and his devotees observed various other ceremonies. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then asked all the devotees to return to Bengal. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sent Nityananda Prabhu to Bengal for preaching, and also sent Ramdas, Gadadhar, not Gadadhara, and several other devotees with him. Then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, with great humility, sent some Jagannath Prasadam and a cloth from Lord Jagannath to his mother through Srivas Thakur. When the Lord bade farewell to Raghava Pandit, Vasudev Datta, the residents of Kulinagram, and other devotees, he praised them for their transcendental qualities. Ramananda Vasu and Satyaraj Khan asked some questions, and Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed them that all householder devotees must engage themselves in the service of Vaishnavas exclusively devoted to chanting the holy name of the Lord. He also instructed the Vaishnavas from Kanda, as well as Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Vidya Bhachaspati, and he praised Murari Gupta for his firm faith in the lotus feet of Lord Ramachandra. Considering the humble prayer of Vasudev Datta, he established that Lord Sri Krishna is qualified to deliver all the conditioned souls. Thereafter, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was accepting prasadam at the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Sarvabhauma's son-in-law, Amoga, created trouble in the family with his criticisms. The following morning, he was attacked by the disease of Vaisesika, cholera. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very kindly saved him from death and enlivened him in chanting the holy name of the Lord. While Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was taking prasadam at the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Amoga criticized him. Still the Lord accepted Amoga, thereby showing how much he was obliged to his devotees. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Lord Nityananda Prabhu, all glories to Advaita Chandra, and all glories to all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya. All glories to the listeners of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita who have accepted it as their life and soul. While Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed at Jagannath Puri, he constantly enjoyed chanting and dancing with his devotees. In the beginning of the day, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw the deity of Lord Jagannath in the temple. He offered him obeisances and prayers and danced and sang before him. After visiting the temple, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would remain outside during the Upalabhog offering. He would then go to meet Haridas Thakur and return to his residence. At noon, when there was an Upalabhog offering in a place called Govardhana Kanda, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would go outside the temple. Before going outside, he used to stand near the Garuda Stamba column and offer his obeisances and prayers. Afterwards, the Lord would visit Siddha Bakul, where Haridas Thakur lived. After visiting with Haridas Thakur, the Lord would return to his own place at the abode of Kashi Mishra. Sitting in his room, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would chant on his beads, and Advaita Prabhu would come there to worship the Lord. While worshipping Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Advaita Acharya would offer him scented water to wash his mouth and feet. Then Advaita Acharya would smear very fragrant sandalwood pulp all over his body. Sri Advaita Prabhu would also place a flower garland around the Lord's neck and tulsi flowers, manjaris, on his head. Then, with folded hands, Advaita Acharya would offer obeisances and prayers unto the Lord. After being worshipped by Advaita Acharya, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would take the dish containing flowers and tulsi and, with whatever paraphernalia remained, worship Advaita Acharya. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would worship Advaita Acharya by chanting the mantra, "Whatever you are, but I offer my respects to you." In addition, the Lord would make some sounds within his mouth that would make Advaita Acharya laugh. In this way, Advaita Acharya and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would offer their respectful obeisances unto each other. Then Advaita Acharya would extend an invitation to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again and again. Indeed, Sri Advaita's invitation is another wonderful story. It has been very vividly described by Vrindavan Das Thakur. Since Advaita Acharya's invitation has been described by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, I shall not repeat the story, but I shall say that other devotees also extended invitations to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Day after day, one devotee after another would invite Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the other devotees to lunch and would also hold a festival. All the devotees remained at Jagannath Puri for 4 continuous months, and they observed all Lord Jagannath's festivals with great pleasure. The devotees celebrated the festival of Janmashtami, Krishna's birthday, which is also called Nanda Mahotsava, the festival of Nanda Maharaj. At that time, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees dressed themselves as cowherd boys. Having dressed up like cowherd boys, all the devotees carried pots of milk and yogurt balanced on rods over their shoulders. Thus they all arrived at the festival grounds chanting the holy name of Hari. Kanani Kutiya dressed himself like Nanda Maharaj, and Jagannath Mahiti dressed himself as Mother Yashoda. At that time, King Prataparudra was also personally present with Kashi Mishra, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and Tulsi Padicchapatra. As usual, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would dance jubilantly. Everyone was covered with milk, yogurt, and yellow turmeric water. At this time, Srila Advaita Acharya said, "Please do not be angry. I speak the truth. I shall know that you are a cowherd boy only if you can whirl this rod about." Accepting Advaita Acharya's challenge, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took a big rod and began to wheel it round and around. Again and again he threw the rod into the sky and caught it when it fell. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wheeled and threw the rod, sometimes over his head, sometimes behind his back, sometimes in front of him, sometimes to his side, and sometimes between his legs. All the people laughed to see this. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wheeled the rod in a circle like a firebrand, the heart of everyone who saw it was astonished. Nityananda Prabhu also played at whirling the rod. Who can understand how they were ecstatically immersed in the deep emotions of the cowherd boys? Following the orders of Maharaj Prataparudra, the temple superintendent named Tulsi brought one of Lord Jagannath's used cloths. This valuable cloth was wrapped around the head of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The other devotees, headed by Advaita Acharya, also had cloths wrapped around their heads. In ecstasy, Kanani Kutiya, who was dressed as Nanda Maharaj, and Jagannath Mahiti, who was dressed as Mother Yashoda, distributed all the riches they had stocked at home. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was greatly satisfied to see this. Accepting them as his father and mother, he offered them obeisances. In great ecstasy, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu returned to his residence. In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, known as Gauranga Sundara, performed various pastimes. On the day celebrating the conquest of Lanka, a day known as Vijay Dashami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dressed up all his devotees as monkey soldiers. Displaying the emotions of Hanuman, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took up a large tree branch and, mounting the walls of the Lanka fort, began to dismantle it. In the ecstasy of Hanuman, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu angrily said, "Where is that rascal Ravana? He has kidnapped the universal mother Sita. Now I shall kill him and all his family." Everyone became very much astonished to see the emotional ecstasy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And everyone began to chant, "Oh glories, again and again. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees participated in all the festivals, including Ras Yatra, Diwali, and Uttana Dwadashi. Purport: the Deepavali festival takes place on the dark moon night in the month of Kartik, October-November. The Ras Yatra, or Rasa dancing of Krishna, takes place on the full moon night of the same month. Uttana Dwadashi takes place the day after Ekadashi in the waxing fortnight of the moon in the same month. All the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu participated in all these festivals. One day, the two brothers, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, consulted with each other while sitting together in a solitary place. No one could understand what the brothers discussed between themselves, but later all the devotees could guess what the subject matter was. Thereafter, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called for all the devotees and asked them to return to Bengal. In this way, he bade farewell to them. Bidding farewell to all the devotees, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested them to return to Jagannath Puri every year to see him and then see the cleansing of the Gundicha temple. With great respect, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested Advaita Acharya, give Krishna consciousness, devotion to Krishna, even to the lowest of men, Chandalas. Purport: this is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's order to all his devotees. Krishna Bhakti, devotion to Krishna, is open to everyone, even low-class men like Chandalas. One should follow this order in the disciplic succession stemming from Sri Advaita and Nityananda Prabhu and distribute Krishna consciousness without discrimination throughout the world. There are different kinds of men, beginning with the Brahmana and going down to the lowest platform known as the Chandala. Whatever one's position, everyone in this age of Kali needs to be enlightened in Krishna consciousness. That is the greatest need of the day. Everyone is acutely feeling the pangs of material existence. Even in the ranks and files of the American Senate, the pinpricks of material existence are felt. So much so that April 30th, 1974 was actually set aside as prayer day. Thus everyone is feeling the resultant pinpricks of Kali Yuga brought about by human societies indulging in illicit sex, meat eating, gambling, and intoxication. Now is the time for the members of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness to distribute Krishna Bhakti all over the world and thus follow the orders of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Lord has ordered everyone to become a guru. Amar Agnai Guru Hai Tar Edesh. Everyone in every town and village should be enlightened by the instructions of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna consciousness should be distributed to everyone indiscriminately. In this way, the entire world will be peaceful and happy, and everyone will glorify Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as he desires. The word Chandala actually refers to a dog eater who is considered the lowest of men. Even Chandalas can be enlightened in Krishna consciousness due to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's benedictions. Krishna Bhakti is not the monopoly of a certain caste. Everyone is eligible to receive this great benediction given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Everyone should be given a chance to receive it and be happy. The word dana, meaning charity, is also significant in this verse. Whoever engages in the distribution of Krishna consciousness is a charitable person. Professional men recite Srimad Bhagavatam and discuss Krishna Bhakti for an exchange of money. They cannot distribute such exalted transcendental property to everyone and anyone. Only pure devotees who have no motive other than serving Krishna can give such transcendently valuable benedictions out of charity. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered Nityananda Prabhu, go to Bengal and without restriction manifest devotional service to the Lord, Krishna consciousness. We'll just take any last reflections or questions. There was Nagar Chandra, you had something.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. I was just appreciating that you pointed out the verse 203 where the mood changed between the beautiful pastimes of Vrindavan to the opulence of Lakshmi and Lakshmi Narayan. And I was also appreciating how that change of mood actually further enforces the beauty of the Vrindavan pastimes of Radha Krishna. It further enhances the beauty of the previous discussion. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, by contrast, right? Thank you. Okay. Anybody else in the Outside People's Party? Yes. Is that Kameshwari? I can't see who it is.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj.
Nitya Charangani, okay.
I have one question from Vaikuntha Nayak Prabhu.
Vaikuntha Nayak. Wow.
We read the description of Vrindavan to be full of desire trees. The grain of Vrindavan to be more valuable than entire universe. How can we see this real Vrindavan when we are in the Dham?
Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena santaksadaiva hridayeshu vilokayandi yam shama sundaram achintu gana surupam govindamari purusham damaham bhajami. When your eyes are smeared with the salve of love, then you can see directly. So the best thing, Prabhupada recommended earlier, is to preach and then come to the Dham at intervals. That was his program. He invited us all to come to the Dham once a year. The whole movement came. He invited everybody. So the devotees would come to Mayapur, spend time with Prabhupada, then Vrindavan, and then go back and preach vigorously. That was Prabhupada's program. So if you follow that program, then you'll be successful. Okay, anything else? Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I was just reflecting on how one of the 33 ecstatic symptoms that Radharani has when thinking about Krishna was even death, and how minimal my understanding of that is. And it made me think of the bhajan Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite on the last verse where it's Karunam Kurumai Karuna Bharite Sanaka Sanatana Varnita Charite. In that part it's saying that even great sages like Sanaka and Sanatana are discussing the qualities of Radhika. And what to speak of Sanaka and Sanatana, Lord Sri Chaitanya and Swarup Damodar are also speaking on these great qualities. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. There's a more detailed discussion about that particular ecstatic symptom called death. It's an outlier because devotees, well, first of all, they don't die, but second of all, there's some discussion about it, about how it is not desirable, because when devotees feel like dying, then they remember their service to Krishna and they eschew the idea of death. We'll have to look that up because it's a little more detailed. Yes, where is that section? Fourth chapter of
Southern Division of Sri Bhakti
Southern
Rasamrita
Division
Sindhu.
of Bhakti Rasamrita
Srila Rupa Goswami specifies that although mriti literally means death, in the context of rasa, it indicates the symptoms leading up to death. So in the upcoming edition for the BBT, we've rendered it as deathliness, because it's like a deathly state that doesn't actually culminate in death for the devotees of Krishna.
And then, of course, thank you. Then, of course, there's the discussion that takes place when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can understand the mind of Sanatana Goswami, that Sanatana Goswami was thinking of killing himself because he had sores on his body, and he was going to jump in front of the Jagannath cart in the presence of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu, he didn't tell anybody, but Mahaprabhu one day at the house of Haridas Thakur said to Sanatana Goswami, I don't approve of this. He said, if I could have achieved Krishna by dying, I would have done it millions of times already. Dear Srila Prabhupada, dear Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shri Shri Panchatattva, Shri Shri Gaurnitai, Shri Shri Krishna Balaram, Shri Shri Radhe Shyam, if you so desire, please enthuse us to give as much energy to reading Prabhupada's books as he did to writing them. Thank you for considering our request. Om Tat Sat. That means no more sleeping. Everyone agrees then with that stipulation, in whole or in part. Please say Hare Krishna. Gaur Premanande, Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Nitai Gaura Hari Bo. Vanchakalpadrishcha kripasinabhevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnavini ki jai. Thank you for joining the emergency session and the morning session. We'll also take up the reading, Krishna willing, again at 4 p.m. Actually, we're going to start at 3:59, so we'll see you there. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. And thanks to the broadcast crew who work. They come in way ahead of time. They leave afterwards. They're on the phone, technical support, improving things. They worry about it all the time, making sure the broadcast is going out. And we really appreciate your service. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.